Talk presented by Hatch Catch. This is your host Hatch coming with another episode. Why understanding matters more than feelings in relationships. This week, let's slow it down a little bit. This is a wisdom episode. Understanding matters more than feelings in relationships. Is this true? Is this for certain? Most people think that relationships fail because of a lack of love, but many fail because of a lack of understanding. A lot of people are in relationships where they feel something but don't understand anything. Proverbs 4 and 7 this week. In the Bible, it says, "In all thy getting, get understanding." But what does this mean when it comes to relationships? People move on feelings, emotions, and attraction, but don't understand the person, themselves, nor the relationship itself. As we go into this wisdom episode, we want to be moving in relationships or whatever we call the dating process with clarity. You can be deeply attracted to someone and still completely misunderstand them. In the process of relationship, we want to address some points when understanding is not clear. We don't have understanding, or we just have attraction seated in feelings and emotions. First of all, we want to say that our one point would be miscommunication. Miscommunication is a big foundational result of a lack of understanding. Talking but not connecting. Miscommunication. Talking but not saying anything. Talking but not saying anything of value nor substance. Second point, misaligned expectation. This kind of coincides with something I like to talk about called misunderstood expectations. Misaligned expectation. Are we in a situation where one person is dating with purpose and the other person is dating for comfort or convenience? Misalignment. Are we dating from two different books and we think maybe it's just a slight misalignment where we're dating from different pages and we're actually dating from two separate books. We're not even in the same zip code with our dating mindset. Now, we can actually date outside our physical zip code, meaning that we have somebody that's not in close proximity to us. Especially today's climate, we got a lot of people dating uh, or seeking to connect, I should say, seeking to get in relationships online, and social media, and long distance. In dating someone long distance, seeking relationships online and social media, and where you're not in close proximity, it's even more valid to date with understanding over attraction and feelings, because we can look at the social media photos, the pictures, we can look at the photos, this text to us, different things like that, and yeah, we could say, okay, I'm physically attracted to that person, but it's more intentional on how our values, our boundaries and standards are aligning when we in long distance. It's even more valid that boundaries and standards need to be set, lines drawn, and barriers to determine if and when those lines will be crossed, those standards will be tested and challenged, and if our boundaries will be broken. Back in alignment with our 3 points: miscommunication, talking but not saying anything of substance of value, talking but not connecting. Misalignment, we're dating from two different books. One is dating with intended purpose. Another one is dating for personal comfort and or convenience. And our last point, emotional frustration. When we don't have clear understanding, we will clearly have emotional frustration in relationships. Unseen, unheard, and feeling misunderstood. Why? Because we didn't have a clear understanding. Especially when we're dealing with communication with men and women and understanding man language versus women language, we need to understand that sometimes we may be saying the same word, but we have different definitions. When we're communicating without understanding, the man is saying one thing, the woman is hearing something totally different based on her definition of the same word, and vice versa. The woman is responding to something, and the man is misunderstanding the response based on his definition of the word. One of the most, I should say, purposeful groundwork understandings we can begin to have is to learn to ask the question, what is the definition of the word that's being used? So we can begin to start off getting an understanding on what will put us on the same page. Because sometimes it may seem simple, but it's simply a simple misunderstanding that causes a big disagreement of misunderstanding, because we have not asked the question, what is your definition of that word? Or what do you mean when you hear this? Or what do you mean when you say that? And we can't take that lightly. So in all our get an understanding in relationship, we can address miscommunication, misalignment, and emotional frustration, so we can be seen, heard, and understood, and not walk away feeling unheard, unseen, and misunderstood. Again, um, this week in relationships, Proverbs 4 and 7, in thy getting, in all thy getting, get understanding. So, whatever relates to your emotional, your relational, your mental connections, get an understanding in every aspect of your life to have clear understanding in your relationships. We're not just gaining relationships, we're not just gaining feelings, but gaining wisdom and clarity for our relationships in every area of our relationships, getting a better understanding. So, in the process of this, we will have precise understanding is what gives a relationship structure and not just emotion dictated by feeling. Why understanding matters more than feelings? How do we begin to journey the process of relationships and all our get an understanding? Well, that will lead us into our action steps for this week. The practical application and the takeaways we want on this journey to understand, so we have that deeper clarity. See, understanding gives us deeper clarity where feelings may leave us challenged if we are actually understood or not, if our relationships actually makes sense or not, or if we are walking away feeling like we're missing something. So our action steps for this week is: number one, ask better questions early. How do we do that? First, ask better questions early. We want clarity questions. Do I understand them? Not just do I like them. Clarity. And we want alignment questions. Do they align with my purpose? Not questions like, do I just share common interests? Do they align with my mission? Not just what do we have in common. Two, we want to observe patterns, not moments. We can have moments of attraction. We can have moments of heightened feelings and stirred emotions. But observed patterns speak to faithful action. Faithful action takes a little more time to be settled over just moments. Faithful action, people reveal themselves over time. That's what we're looking for when we're talking about observing patterns not moments. We're looking for faithful actions where people reveal themselves over time and the true nature can't be buried. True nature, you heard me say it, can't be buried. So in those temporary moments, true nature can be hidden in infatuation and attraction, but over time, it will be uncovered, the true nature. And that leads us into the last action step about being uncovered. And body language is consistent language. So, consistent language is more than just the words we hear, more than just what's spoken to us and spoken around us. But we do want consistency in our communication. Yes, the words spoken to us, the words spoken around us, we do want consistency in that. But consistent language, we want to affect speech that uncovers hidden truth. No matter what the language is, primarily we focus on speech. We want consistent language that uncovers hidden truth. And I mentioned body language because if we can learn body language, we can learn a hidden aspect of discernment that will steer us to clear decision making because more than the words, body language don't lie. Where sometimes words may be deceptive, intentional or not, or where the words may not tell the whole complete story, body language most times is involuntary. So if you see the clues of body language, it'll tell you if the words are in alignment with the true nature of the person, maybe a little earlier than dissecting if the speech is completely true or not. So, action steps again for the week as we close out. Ask better questions early, observe patterns, not moments, and get concise language. Clarity questions, alignment questions, faithful action, consistent language. And the third action step for the week is align before attracting. We want to focus clearly on alignment before just attracting anything and everything, or even what we feel is the thing. So we want a connected mission in order to align before attracting. And in that connected mission, understanding more than feelings. So I'm knowing that the one is connected to my mission first, and it helps me to understand true aligning, connected mission. Align before attracting. We want more than just an emotional investment. We want more than to just be focused on putting everything into an emotional investment before we get clear understanding. So emotional educated investment is to move forward in motion with understanding before I open myself to a full emotional investment. So just like personal investments with money, we want to be educated. We want to educated investment in our understanding and our relationships. Once again, third, but not definitely not least, action step for this week: align before attracting. Committed, connected mission, and educated investment. Don't put all my eggs into an emotional investment before I get a clear understanding of how we're moving forward. Um, as we continue to build this community, I want you to understand that I am opening a few beta coaching spots coming up in the near future. And as I close out, I want you to remember and understand you can be attracted to someone and still not understand them. Understanding matters more than feelings. If you feel this episode made you think a little different, we kind of navigated our flow a little different. Share with someone who needs clarity in relationships, not confusion. And if you're willing to go deeper, definitely fill out the Kingdom Alignment application and grab the Kingdom Connection Starter Guide, the link in the show notes. And as always, it's a pleasure having you join in the community with us. Until next time, peace and love. Hatch out.